Hello again, y'all. Welcome back to the channel again. It is Comic Kid here, and we have another advanced DC review for y'all today. Now, in case you didn't see the thumbnail, we will be discussing I Am Batman #1, the Harley Quinn animated series #1, and Titans United #1. And I was pretty impressed with the selection this week. I haven't had a chance to read some of the other stuff yet, so I don't really know what my favorite for this week would be, but between these three, I'd probably give it to I Am Batman, but I am biased towards Batman. He's one of my favorites, and even though it's not Bruce Wayne, I still thought this was a pretty strong start in quotations, obviously. But we'll start off with the Harley Quinn series tie-in. Eat, Bang, Kill is the exact subtitle for this, and basically it's not like a new Harley Quinn series so much as it is a direct tie-in to the animated Harley Quinn series on HBO Max or the DC Universe app or whichever platform you watched it on. Now it's on HBO Max, and if y'all haven't had a chance to check out the animated series, I do highly recommend it. It is hilarious and everything, so. But aside from my thoughts on the actual show, I was a little disappointed in this book. And it's not so much like where they take the plot or the characters. I actually think the plot is a pretty solid one, and I am curious to see where they take that. I just felt like some of the dialogue and what the characters were saying felt a little out of place for this specific interpretation of these characters. Obviously, the comic is working within the realm of the show, and I just don't know that I'd believe Lake Bell's Poison Ivy would deliver a specific line like this or like that. Same with Kaylee Cuoco's Harley, and so I would say I disagreed creatively with some of the dialogue options. Granted, a lot of it is done specifically to catch new readers up who have not seen the TV show, and so I get it. And it's not like this dialogue is horrendous or totally out of character. I just would disagree for the realms of this specific version of these characters. Aside from that, I thought the artwork was actually very well done. It's not exactly like the show, but it's close enough that it still feels like it's part of the show, but also different enough that it's got its own unique flair here and there. And like I said, the plot was actually pretty solid. Basically, Ivy and Harley are going on their honeymoon of sorts at all the villains' lairs who were just arrested at Ivy's wedding with Kite Man. And I am curious to see where season 3 will pick up, because this one is supposed to be, or at least was advertised as, a bridge between seasons 2 and 3, and so I am curious to see exactly where we'll end up starting with season 3. But overall, I guess it's off to an okay start. If you're a fan of the show, then there's a chance you'll like this. At the moment, I don't really know how necessary it will be or not, but it definitely feels like it's gonna offer some important stuff, at least in terms of the overall story. But that's really all I have to say about Harley. Moving on to Titans United, I actually thought this was a really strong start to this particular series. I really like the lineup of Titans that they have in this. It is very reminiscent of the current Titans TV show, but it's more so that they're all together, with the exception of Hawk and Dove. But once you read the issue, you know that Hawk and Dove are eventually coming into the fold anyways, and so it really feels like everyone from the TV show is here and present in this series. But I love the dynamic between the team. You can tell that they know each other and have like history. I am honestly not certain if it is canon or not. It definitely looks like it could be, but I mean, I also would fully be fine if it weren't. But overall, it's a pretty strong start to what feels like a great, just short little Teen Titans or Titans story. Essentially, the team has to uncover the mystery of these new metahumans who are suddenly gaining powers and it's not like one particular power that suddenly manifests. It seems like their bodies can't control several different powers that it's trying to retain at one time. And so there's some good little meta-human stuff that they're experimenting with here and there, but where the creative team here really succeeds is in their characterizations. It's got really strong art, it's got really strong voices. Each character, in my opinion, does feel like a unique individual, and they're not just some like, oh, this stereotypical member of this team. Reading Starfire feels like you're reading Starfire, reading Raven feels like you're reading Raven, and so on. But overall, like, yeah, I'd give this one a solid A- for the first issue. Like, it was just excellent all around. And then lastly, we have I Am Batman #1. Now, I've been a little iffy on John Ridley's Batman so far. I actually thought the Future State stuff was great, but then I thought Second Son was a little weaker. And when I Am Batman issue 0 came out a few weeks ago, I was a little skeptical. But I feel like he's finally found his stride now that Tim Fox is finally Batman. And maybe that's all the series was really missing, was they kept calling it Batman and whatnot, but it never really felt like Batman. Now that he's finally Batman, I felt like this issue was just incredibly strong. It just feels like we've gotten to the point now, and I'm very excited to see where he takes it from here. I've kept up with all the Tim Fox stuff, like I said, and so I like the direction they're taking the character. I like his motives. I like how he's still trying to be a different and a better Batman than Bruce. Obviously, if he succeeds, only time will tell, but I think it's got a good idea and a strong premise. Like, this is a Batman that just gets that he has to do stuff differently for other types of criminals. And I think that seeing that finally come into fruition is just going to end up paying off in a much bigger story than others may realize. Now, I do really like John Ridley. If y'all haven't had a chance, I highly recommend The Other History of the DC Universe. All 5 issues are just incredible. But like I said, I was a little iffy on his Batman. I was a little up and down. But now that we're at the point, I feel like it'll definitely get only better from here. And so I'd probably give this issue a solid A- as well. Obviously, Oliver Coipel's art just really kind of seals the deal as well, but overall, I really feel like it's a just solid story all around. But that is everything that I have in terms of #1s for y'all today. As always, be sure to hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to check out the links in the description if you want to help support the channel. But thanks again, you guys, so much for watching, and I will see y'all again real soon.